What if I told you that the biggest threat to your retirement isn't inflation, it isn't the stock market, and it's not the rising cost of healthcare?
Right. Which is usually what people worry about first.
Exactly. The biggest threat is actually a single five-letter word, later.
Oh, man, that is so true.
You probably have a drawer or like maybe a folder on your desktop filled with glossy brochures, saved articles,
Mhm.
little scribbled lists of places you swear you were going to see someday.
Yep. The famous someday list.
Right. You look at it and say, well, we'll go next year. Or we'll wait until things calm down. It functions almost like a psychological safety blanket, you know?
It really is a protective mechanism. I mean, keeping those dreams in a drawer, it allows you to enjoy the fantasy of travel without ever having to face the vulnerability or the friction of actually making it happen.
Yeah.
We treat that bucket list like it's preserved in amber, completely safe from the passage of time.
But here is the hard truth we're tackling today. For millions of people, especially those entering or, already navigating their retirement, later simply never comes.
Yeah, that's the tragedy of it.
That beautiful list just sits there, gathering dust while the clock steadily ticks down. So today we are pulling insights from a comprehensive industry report. It's titled, Debunking the 5 Costly Myths of Retirement Travel.
Which is a fantastic resource, by the way.
It really is. And our goal for this deep dive is to dismantle the fear-based barriers that are quietly stealing joy, suppressing memories, and most tragically, consuming unrecoverable time from you or the people you love.
I think the word stealing captures the stakes perfectly because these aren't just harmless little misconceptions about, like, booking flights.
Right.
They are active psychological walls. They cost people deep relationships, they erode confidence, and they prevent experiences that people have literally spent decades earning the right to enjoy.
Okay, let's unpack this because I want to establish a baseline right out of the gate here.
Mhm.
When we analyze retirement travel today, the sources aren't suggesting you drain your 401k.
No, not at all.
Nobody is saying you need to book a 5-star luxury resort in Dubai or endure some chaotic shoulder-to-shoulder sprint through a massive international airport.
Oh, please don't do that. That sounds awful.
It does. You can travel comfortably and wisely without doing any of that. But before you even look at a map, the very first wall you inevitably hit is your wallet. The assumption that travel is simply too expensive right now, it's just pervasive.
It is. It functions as the ultimate conversation ender. Like, the moment someone brings up a potential trip, the sticker shock argument just shuts the entire brainstorm down immediately.
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second here because the hesitation is grounded in some reality. Flights have objectively gone up in price.
Yeah.
Hotel rates are higher.
Oh, for sure. The raw numbers are up.
Right. Cruise packages are higher. Trying to travel the exact same way you did in your 30s is like trying to buy a house at the absolute peak of a seller's market.
That is a great analogy.
You are competing with everyone else at the exact wrong time,
All right.
and you are going to pay a massive premium for the privilege.
What's fascinating here is you are bidding against the rest of the world. But the source material reveals a really crucial distinction. The travel itself isn't inherently too expensive.
Okay.
It becomes impossibly expensive because of the mechanics of how people are planning it. Retirees, just purely by habit, often try to execute a trip using the exact same playbook as younger travelers, or families tethered to school-aged kids.
Meaning they are instinctively looking at peak summer months.
Exactly. Or they are drawn into highly advertised tourist traps.
They target premium dates, they travel over major commercial holidays, or they rely on last-minute bookings because they're waiting for the perfect time.
Right, and that is where the budget just totally evaporates.
However, the report points out a massive, undeniable structural advantage that retirees possess, which the rest of the traveling public simply does not have. The golden ticket is flexibility.
Oh, flexibility fundamentally changes the entire economic equation of the travel industry.
It really does.
When you are no longer chained to a corporate 2-week vacation policy or a middle school academic calendar, you suddenly have the power to travel in the shoulder season.
And to define that, for anyone unfamiliar, the shoulder season refers to those sweet spot weeks right before or right after the peak tourist rush, right?
Exactly. Where the weather is still highly favorable, but the massive crowds have gone home.
The document provides some fantastic concrete examples of this dynamic.
Mm.
Like, think about Paris in June.
Oh, wow.
The
Yeah.
crowds are shoulder to shoulder, the heat can be sweltering, the locals have often left for their own vacations, and the hotel prices are astronomical.
It's miserable.
But then compare that to Paris in October. It's a completely different city. The locals are back, the cafe culture is authentic rather than catered just to tourists, and you are operating in a completely different, much lower price bracket.
That's huge. And the same economic shift applies to the Caribbean. Booking a trip there during the Christmas season is going to cost a small fortune.
Definitely.
Shift that exact same itinerary to late September, and the cost difference is staggering. Or taking a cruise during the chaos of spring break versus a quiet early December departure. I mean, the pricing models are night and day.
Beyond just manipulating the calendar, the source highlights a major shift in what comfortable travel actually means for this demographic.
Yes, this is so important.
We have been heavily conditioned by marketing to think that comfort equates to high-end luxury, that you need the diamond-rated resort to guarantee a good time.
Right, but the data shows the happiest travelers in the retirement demographic are doing something entirely different to manage costs.
What are they doing?
They are moving slower. They rent a local apartment with a kitchen instead of booking a massive overpriced hotel suite. They pick smaller, quiet boutique hotels in residential neighborhoods.
They stay significantly longer in one single place.
Exactly.
They aren't trying to curate a frantic, multi-city Instagram vacation to show off to their followers. They prioritize peace.
Yeah, they take fewer trips overall, but the baseline quality of those trips is much higher. You don't need a golden chandelier in your lobby. You just need a comfortable bed, a safe neighborhood, and experiences that are actually enriching.
Once people understand the mechanics of the shoulder season and realize they actually possess the budget and the flexibility to travel this way, the financial excuse quickly dissolves.
It really does.
But let's assume you've unlocked the schedule. You realize you actually have the money because you're targeting that October window.
Yeah.
Getting someone to actually hit book usually reveals a completely different, much more physical anxiety.
Yeah, and this is the one that really stands out in the research, and it's quite heartbreaking, honestly.
It is. It's the internalized belief of, I am just too old to do this now.
Right.
So what does this actually mean for the people out there who are objectively healthy? We are talking about people in their 60s and 70s who go for daily walks, who are highly active in their local communities.
But the moment you mention a flight to Europe, they suddenly feel frail.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Reading through the psychological breakdown in the text, it seems like they're suffering from a kind of vacation PTSD.
Vacation PTSD is a highly accurate way to diagnose it. The human brain is incredibly efficient at memory consolidation. It tends to remember the peaks of an experience and the very end of an experience.
Okay, so how does that apply here?
Well, for many retirees, their primary memories of travel are from 20 or 30 years ago.
Oh, wow. Right, they are remembering the sheer, unadulterated exhaustion of it.
Yes, dragging 3 cranky kids and heavy luggage through a massive airport concourse.
Sprinting between terminals because of a tight connection.
Packing 4 major cities into a single 5-day itinerary.
Forcing everyone to wake up at dawn to see everything because they only had 1 week off from work for the entire year.
They vividly remember coming home and needing a vacation just to recover from their vacation.
Yeah, that resonates with so many people.
Yeah.
And the brain maps that past trauma directly onto any future travel plans?
Exactly. The issue identified in the research isn't their biological age. The issue is residual fear. They are projecting the exhaustion of how they used to travel onto a completely different season of life.
So retirement travel is no longer about time maximization. It is entirely about energy management.
Yes, you don't have to prove your physical stamina to anyone anymore.
Right.
Because of that critical shift in mindset, retirees often have the capacity to travel significantly better than younger people. They have finally learned the art of slowing down.
The source provides a powerful reality check here. There are people in their 80s out there right now actively walking the trails of Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
They are boarding slow-paced river cruises, winding through the heart of Europe. They are exploring Hawaii at their own rhythm.
Some are flying business class for the very first time in their lives and absorbing every minute of the experience.
The actual style of travel completely transforms. It's no longer the 6 a.m. wake-up calls to beat the lines at a museum.
No way. The new style is characterized by slower mornings, maybe enjoying coffee on a patio for 2 hours.
It's prioritizing direct flights so you aren't sprinting to a connection in Atlanta or Chicago.
It's picking 1 or 2 destinations instead of 5. The overarching philosophy the notes emphasize is choosing comfort over chaos.
It looks like sitting on a balcony in Maui with a good book, just watching the tide.
Or enjoying a quiet, intimate jazz night in Chicago.
Relaxing at an oceanfront resort in Mexico, where the only decision is what to have for dinner.
Or, frankly, just reconnecting with a spouse without the endless nagging distractions of a house that constantly needs fixing or a yard that needs mowing.
Picturing that slow morning on a balcony in Maui is one thing. But getting from your living room to that balcony requires navigating a landscape that feels distinctly hostile to anyone who didn't grow up with a smartphone in their hand.
Oh, for sure.
This brings us to a massive, modern wall. The fear that travel is simply too complicated now.
The logistical and technological friction.
I have to advocate heavily for anyone who feels this way, because the intimidation is 100% genuine. It isn't in their heads.
No, not at all.
The mechanics of the travel industry have changed drastically to push the labor onto the consumer. You've got proprietary airline apps you have to download and update.
Digital boarding passes that mysteriously disappear if your phone screen locks at the wrong moment.
Constant QR codes for menus and maps. Check-in rules and security protocols that seem to change by the week. It genuinely feels like you need an advanced IT degree just to get the digital key to your hotel room these days.
The technological friction is undeniably real, and airlines did this intentionally to cut their own overhead.
Right.
But this raises an important question the source poses. Why do retirees accept that labor and feel they have to navigate all of it completely alone?
That's a great point.
The stress comes from trying to be a solo project manager for a highly complex, digitally driven logistical operation. We strongly advise listeners to stop comparing themselves to the 25-year-old backpacker who is willing to sleep on the floor of an airport terminal just to save $50.
Or who happily spends hours hacking 5 different apps to find a cheap hostel.
Exactly. That is not your lane anymore.
So if you want the Maui balcony, but you absolutely hate the apps, you have to offload the tech burden. The solution outlined here is utilizing simple systems and, frankly, hiring a good travel advisor.
Yes, you don't have to become a travel tech expert overnight.
Travel advisors have access to back-end systems and direct lines of communication that the general public simply does not. The new priorities for retirement travel must be convenience, comfort, simplicity, safety, and support.
The source outlines exactly what smart retirees do to bypass this complication and protect their energy. They book nonstop flights whenever it is humanly possible, entirely removing the variable of missed connections.
They pre-arrange their airport transfers.
Yes. This means there is a person holding a physical sign with their name on it the absolute moment they land. There's no standing on a curb trying to figure out how the local rideshare app works in a foreign language.
They buy robust travel insurance, so they aren't worried about medical emergencies. They plan fewer hotel changes, so they aren't constantly packing and unpacking suitcases.
And they deliberately schedule extra rest days at the beginning of a trip just to acclimatize.
Now, here is a crucial psychological point that ties into those logistics. Paying for a premium economy seat or paying for that prearranged driver often triggers immense guilt.
Oh, major guilt.
People feel like they are failing or being ripped off if they pay $100 for a transfer instead of figuring out the local bus system for $3.
That guilt is rooted in decades of conditioning. I mean, these are individuals who spent their entire adult lives optimizing for savings.
Right.
They spent 40 years working, raising families, clipping coupons, balancing budgets, and paying mortgages. Frugality was a necessary survival tool.
But at this stage of life, comfort is not a waste of money if it actively protects your health and your peace of mind.
Exactly. The source makes a profound observation about human behavior here. It is almost always logistical stress that ruins a trip, not the destination itself.
Wow.
If spending an extra $200 ensures you arrive at your hotel rested and calm instead of frantic and fighting with your spouse, that is the single best investment you can make on that entire trip.
Here's where it gets really interesting. You can hand someone a fully funded itinerary in the shoulder season. You can promise them a slow pace that respects their energy. You can hire an advisor to handle every single app and logistical hurdle.
And they will still somehow find a reason to unpack their bags and stay home.
Yes. The ultimate barrier isn't logistical at all. It's a false sense of duty and the pursuit of perfection.
The emotional hurdles are always the hardest to clear. They usually manifest in two intertwined ways: the trap of perfect timing and the internalized belief that spending money on oneself is inherently selfish.
People treat their retirement like a waiting room. The psychology of "I'll travel when" is incredibly pervasive.
Oh, yeah. I'll travel when airline prices drop.
I'll travel when I finally lose those 15 pounds.
I wait for the economy to stabilize.
I'll wait until my spouse officially retires next year.
I'll wait until the family drama just calms down.
And what is the result? Suddenly, 5 years vanish. Then 10 years. And then the physical act of travel feels even harder than it did a decade ago.
Yeah.
How do we break out of this cycle, especially when society constantly conditions caregivers and parents to view self-investment as a zero-sum game?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to confront the stark reality of time. Time is the one truly non-renewable resource we possess.
Right.
You can always make your money back. You cannot make your Tuesday back. This guilt you mentioned, it disproportionately affects women, caregivers, and grandparents.
They will happily write a substantial check for their grandchildren's college fund,
Or donate to their church.
or drop everything and spend thousands on a family emergency. But the moment it comes to investing in their own joy or mental health, they hesitate. It feels selfish to them.
Because they feel like they are taking resources away from someone else.
Exactly. But retirement is not supposed to be an endless survival mode or a period of just waiting out the clock while perpetually serving everyone else's needs.
No, it's not. And the illusion that the future will somehow be perfectly smooth and stress-free is just that, an illusion.
Perfect timing simply does not exist.
It doesn't. The source material notes that one of the most common regrets people express later in life is operating under the dangerous assumption that they had unlimited time.
It's a heavy realization. But travel isn't just about pure indulgence. It serves a vital psychological function. It creates genuine perspective, creates space for healing.
That's a beautiful way to look at it.
Think about couples who maybe haven't had a truly deep, uninterrupted conversation in years because they've been so consumed by managing their household, their medical appointments, and their daily routines.
Getting completely away from that environment forces a reconnection. It resets your baseline dopamine.
It provides a necessary interruption to the mundane. And it's important to clarify, you don't even need a passport to achieve this psychological reset.
No, not at all. It doesn't have to be a grand, month-long international tour.
The source points this out beautifully. A dedicated weekend in downtown Chicago can do it. Going to a nice rooftop dinner or renting a quiet lakefront cabin just an hour away can completely break a stale routine and make you feel alive again.
The value is in the interruption itself.
Yeah.
When you look back at the scope of a life, what is it that really matters? Nobody at the end of their life looks back and wishes they had spent more time folding laundry.
Or perfectly maintaining their lawn.
Or agonizing over a few $100s.
They remember the sunsets, they remember the adventures, they remember the sudden, uncontrollable bursts of laughter over a ruined dinner in a city they didn't know.
Exactly. Those are the specific assets that actually appreciate in value as you get older.
The memories appreciate, while the material things degrade.
So true.
So, as we synthesize everything we've pulled from this report, the core takeaways completely reframe the landscape. The assumption that it's too expensive is flawed because retirees hold the ultimate currency of flexibility to leverage the shoulder season.
Right.
The fear of being too old is just projecting past exhaustion. The reality is shifting from frantic sightseeing to smart energy management.
Yep.
The anxiety over modern tech complications is solved by simply offloading the burden to an advisor and intentionally paying for comfort.
Which is so important.
And the idea of waiting for the perfect time is an illusion that drains your most precious resource. Plus, the guilt of selfishness ignores the fact that investing in your own joy and perspective is essential, not optional.
These excuses are really just ghost stories we tell ourselves based on how travel used to be or how we think we are supposed to act. When you shine a light on them, the fear dissipates.
For everyone listening right now, I want to leave you with this reminder. Retirement travel isn't about proving your stamina. It isn't about showing off to the neighbors or curating photos. It is entirely about living comfortably and intentionally.
Absolutely.
Your absolute best, most enriching travel days might not be in your rearview mirror at all. They might actually be right ahead of you. If the insights from this deep dive spark something in you, please send it to that friend or family member who keeps saying, maybe someday.
Yeah.
Because someday disappears remarkably fast.
Building directly on what we've just discussed about the vital importance of interrupting the mundane, I want you to ask yourself right now, what is one stale routine in your daily life that desperately needs disrupting? You don't necessarily need a passport to change your perspective. You just need the courage to step out your front door today. Don't let your actual life stay trapped in that drawer.
Stop waiting for later. Have a great week, everyone. Go plan something amazing.